So the theory that does explain all of these changes in the positions of the continents is called plate tectonics. And let's start out by talking about the different layers that are involved with plate tectonics. So I mentioned the continental crust and the oceanic crust before, and it turns out they're just part of something that's thicker and extends down into the mantle called the lithosphere. So the lithosphere would be going from the top of the ocean, or the ocean floor, the top of the oceanic crust, down to some distance in the mantle. That entire thickness would be called the lithosphere. And the continental crust would be also sitting on top of the asthenosphere. So the layer below is called the asthenosphere. This is the weak layer. Not like the crust and the lithosphere are strong and rigid. The asthenosphere is more able to be molded. It's kind of like more like Play-Doh. It's still a solid, but it's able to allow movement to occur over it. So the asthenosphere is different than the lithosphere, and that's where the motion is occurring with these continents moving across. So if we just cut away at the Earth, we often talk about the crust. There's a solid crust, and there's also a solid mantle below the crust. And then at the center of the Earth is the core of the Earth, which is actually composed of two parts: the outer core, which is liquid, and the inner core, which actually goes back to being a solid because it's under more pressure. So when we talk about these plate tectonic layers, we're talking about things that are just happening right up here, right in the top part of the Earth. It includes all of the crust, and it includes just the upper part, just a little sliver, extra part of the mantle. That's what makes up the lithosphere. And below that is the asthenosphere, and that's where the movement of these plates take place. So these plates also have edges, and we can look at the distribution of the plates throughout the Earth. And this is just sort of an overview to show where some of these major plates are. Here's the one we're on here, the North American plate. To the west of us mostly is the Pacific plate, but we'll talk more about this Juan de Fuca plate, and there's a couple of smaller plates there that really impact things in our area, like where the Cascade Mountains are. Most of Europe and Asia are all part of this Eurasian plate, but you can see there's an Indian plate. This has to do with why the Himalaya Mountains are where they are. There's a Somali and Australian plate. Some plates just kind of are right in the middle, or some continents are right in the middle of their plates, like Australia. But a lot of times, at least on one side, there's a plate boundary on one side, like the South American plate here and the North American plate over here. But on the other side of the North American plate, we don't reach the plate boundary till we get out into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.